Welcome to the Cuttercast, presented by Canvas Cutter, where we leave chaos for campfires and trade deadlines for dirt roads. We dive into hunting stories, outdoor adventures, and the gear that lets you live life outside. Kick back and let's get into it. Add lighting, add another camera, or,
I like it, man. It's cool. Yeah.
Well, shall we start?
Let's do it.
Let's do it so that you can get going. Welcome back, everybody, to the Cuttercast. Today we are talking bird dogs and bird hunting. We have Tyce Erickson, Tyce Erickson, who I was introduced to through Jake Finn, and I don't know how you guys met. Through like homeschooling or something like that.
Jake's wife Jake's mom lives next door to me. And so he was talking to his wife and said, hey, we homeschool our kids. And so she said, you should go meet the Ericksons, and they homeschool their kids. And then Jake's brother lives close to me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then Jake's nephew actually works for me.
So you're surrounded by
people you know. So it's only a matter of time. And then we met at the Western.
That's right, at Western Hunt
Expo. Yeah.
And you run Utah Bird Dog Training.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been running that?
So I've had that business for about 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah. I've trained a few dogs.
You have trained a few dogs for sure.
I should be retired by now, but I'm not. That's all right.
When did that drive for hunting, bird hunting, training dogs, like when did that start for you? Has it been always just been in your life, or?
So I've always loved animals. Like I've always thought animals are just fascinating. I was the little kid. The family trips. I was catching the lizards, catching the frogs. I've always been fascinated by animals. And yeah, I would say with dogs, I've always been fascinated by dogs. I've always loved dogs, and I wanted a dog ever since I was a little kid. And when I was about 12 years old is when I got probably 12 years old, and I got my first dog. Then my dad's like, yeah, man, I'm like, can I get a dog? We always had a dog growing up.
Yeah.
So we had him growing up, but then, I got my own dog when I was about 12, and it was supposed to be a purebred lab. The ad, in the newspaper back then. Yeah. It's like the red fern grows, It's like you go to the newspaper.
Order my dog.
And you had up the classified section. It said purebred labs like $50. And so I was like, oh, sweet. So I went and got my first dog, and I showed up, and these dogs had they almost looked like a German Shepherd cross, but they're like purebreds. I'm like,
purebred.
$50 deal. Like I'll get, I just wanted a dog. I was a young kid. So I got one of those, and the dog, I was young enough. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I know I wanted to bird hunt with it. And then the dog was just kind of a pet. That one kind of ran away or something. It did run away, or supposedly that's what my parents said, but it would just kind of run around our house. Yeah. And we lived up in Orem, and it just kind of disappeared one day. I don't know, honestly, know where it went. And then the next dog I got, it was actually, I paid a little more money. I think I paid $300, and that was a black lab, purebred. You kind of learn a little more. Like a lot of people, and I find this with my clients too on a side note, is they go, oh, it's a purebred lab, I should just buy it. But they don't really know a lot about, I don't know, until you start having them and you realize like how much genetics play a role.
So like breed and the breed line, like.
Well, it's like this, like, okay, there's a Labrador Retriever, right?
Sure.
So, but there's horses too.
Yeah.
But you have race horses, and you have like, I don't know,
your quarter
cutting
horses.
Whatever. Like you have all these different horses, but you still look at them, you're like, well, that one, I think that's a horse, and I know you ride them, and people run on them and do races. So maybe I can turn that into a racehorse. And it's like, but it's like, so sometimes with dogs, it's that same route. It's a Labrador Retriever. They should all hunt. They should all love the water. They should all love to retrieve. but then you start putting them in the race and they don't perform like a race horse. And so like when you start playing genetics and then you actually get a race horse or a field bred hunting lab, they just respond to it differently. You just start teaching them the training, just like if you were training a horse to go into a race, it just clicks because they've been bred. You have athletes after athletes that are bred to do that specific skill set.
Right.
And so when you train that dog at that point, they just click. Where instead you're like, you could only imagine like trying to train a non-race horse to race, and it can kind of play the game, but it's not gonna perform like a racehorse. So dogs are no different. So I kind of learned, and I was obviously a young kid. And
were you getting it for bird hunting, or
I would
just
say,
a dog again?
No, it's for bird hunt. Yeah, I always wanted to bird hunt. And I mean, I remember when I was little, I'd go down the river bottoms behind our house, and I'd have a pellet gun, and we'd shoot like starlings out of the trees. We'd shoot them, and then the dog would go get them, and I was, oh, that's so cool, So I just kind of geeked out. I think that's what really, as far as I can recollect, when I first started hunting, was like taking my dog and shooting Tweety birds, and then it would go retrieve them because I couldn't shoot a shotgun there or a 22, and so shoot them, and then that kind of evolved into just the love of like a dog doing something for you and like working animals. I've always developed, and I've always loved animals and loved hunting, grew up in a hunting family, and then just having an animal do things for you. And then, we talked off podcasts, but I have like pack llamas.
Yeah.
It's like I train those all up. It's just cool to take an animal and teach it to do a task for you.
Yeah.
And then when you're in nature with it, it's just cool to have that kind of, together.
Changes
like
the
falconry
experience.
Is always cool. I've never gotten into it, but it's like taking a wild animal and like a dog or a llama and taking these animals that can potentially do a task and then train them to do that is just, and be efficient and have that tool is pretty awesome.
How old were you when you trained a dog for the purpose of bird hunting? I remember I got my first lab at around the same age, 11 or 12. And before I got it, like probably a year before I got it, I wish I knew his name. He was a bird dog trainer, and he made all these videos, and I got one from Sportsman's. He did a water dog was the name of it, and he did like gun dog and upland dog and stuff. And I know I
read those books. I can't. I should know his name.
I should know his name too, just to give him credit. But I just like watched that 40 times, and then when I got my dog, I just tried to follow that. But how old were you when you purposely were like trying to train a bird dog to do bird hunting?
I would say it was probably that 13 to 15 range. Because I think we were talking earlier about before I even had a car, I had saved up money and bought a duck boat, and I had my black lab, And I remember it was so funny. Awesome. We always had to because you couldn't buy shotgun shells legally.
Yeah.
Like I think it was till it's either 16 or 21. I think we would ride our bikes to the store, and then we'd have to ask people to buy a shotgun shell so we could go hunting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I legally can be out there hunting, but I can't buy shotgun gun. We'd always get some people like, dude, like, why do you want, like, I'm buying shotgun shells for you. I don't even know who you are, But we wanted to go hunting, and our parents were busy or something, so we'd have to find random people to buy us shotgun shells. So
that's awesome. And you would. Hunting. That's the craziest. We would always ride our bikes to Allen's in Springville and buy pellets, 22 shells. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah, you go wherever.
Like, okay. Nobody would bat an eye that I just rolled my bike into Allen's grocery store with a pellet gun.
Yeah.
Now you're going to prison, but
exactly.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I'd say about that 12 to 15, I had my first pretty good, like a dog I could duck hunt with, and I mean obviously from then to like my skill set now is
evolved.
It's a lot. That's a lot different, but I had a dog I could hunt pheasants with, and I did a lot of like. One of my first, we were talking about before we shot this podcast, kind of your first dog and how like a lot of your dogs, like I think they're just really impressionable on you. And I think a lot of times people are younger when they get them, so they spend more time with them. They don't have kids and family and work. And so you build that kind of, they call a lot that unspoken bond, but you kind of build that bond with an animal. And I had a dog named Lady that it was my first dog, and first dog that I had a long time, did a lot of training with her, and her tracking ability was incredible because I did so much drag work with her, like taking wings and birds and dragging them, creating scent trails like a hound. That dog would just, I mean, she would just you could get on a chuck or a pheasant and you hit a little track in the snow, and just like a dang bloodhound, she wouldn't be fast, but she'd get her nose down and she would just work it, and you just follow her hundreds of yards and she just work it. And all of a sudden she'd start getting faster, her tail would start going quicker. Like, get ready, guys. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 and she could running roosters. I mean, we killed a crap load of birds over her because she could just track. And I mean, I wish in our training program we do offer some tracking now. But like, if you do a lot of tracking and really teach that dog to use its nose for like running birds, like it's a phenomenal skill set, But I had a ton of time, and that's all I did was pretty much hang out with my dog and work it, So, anyways, I got on a side.
When did that grow into you starting the Utah Bird Dogs training?
Bird Dog training.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. I actually wasn't planning on being a dog trainer for a living, and I kind of felt like I was just honestly guided into it. To serve a mission, I speak Mandarin Chinese. So I was like, I'm going to do, 1 in 10,000 white guys speak Mandarin Chinese, So I'll use that. I'm like, I'll use my Chinese and I'll go do international business. And I've always been entrepreneurial minded. I've always had my own businesses ever since I was a little kid. I had a landscaping company when I was a teenager too. We did, had like 30 or 40 lawns, and did all that stuff and weeding. And that turned into like, I don't know, just little landscape jobs. And I built log furniture for a little while. So I did that, and kind of as I was finishing college, but how it kind of turned into it, I always had a hunting dog, and I always got better and better at it. And then as I was finishing up college, I had a buddy reach out who I hunted with a lot, and he's like, dude, I love your dogs and they're trained awesome. Can you train my dog for me? And I was like, sure, man. I'm like, when I was finishing up college, I was, broke like most college students are. And he's like, I'll pay you like $300 a month to like train my dog. And I probably would have done it for free, because I just loved it. Yeah. It's like, sure, man, dude, $300. Like, I just love doing this anyway. So I trained his dog, and then he came back and he's like, dude, that was awesome. You like train another one for me? And I was like, sure. So I trained another one for him. And that's kind of how it just started. I started training like for a few people here and there. And I put a little ad out like, hey, I'm training some dogs. And I honestly wasn't planning on doing it for a living. It just was like a little side money, type thing. And then it just grew. And it just grew and grew. And I remember my parents were always like, what are you going to do for a living? What are you going to do? Like, you speak Chinese and you're training dogs. Like, what the heck? You're throwing away your talents or whatever.
Are you training them in Chinese?
Yeah. Like, they're like, are you, I kind of felt like they're like, you're wasting your life away. Like, training dogs, like, use your talent. But I just felt like it was easy for me because I'm passionate about it. Mm-hmm. So I've always loved dogs. I've loved hunting. And so it wasn't like hard to get into it and get up and train dogs and do the
something
job.
You look forward to.
And so, that kind of just evolved. And then I started growing a little bit. So I hired on my brother-in-law's brother to work for me about 10 years ago. And then my neighbor, he was a mechanic and he loved dogs, and I hired him about 9 years ago. And I have another guy that's been with me for a couple of years. So we got just a little team, and I train. And then, over the years, like doing it so much and training so many different breeds, a lot, you learn a lot. So I guess kind of getting ahead of myself here, but our company is called Utah Bird Dog Training. And in the beginning, I couldn't really afford just to say I only train labs.
Right.
Or I only train. So I was like, I'll train whatever you want. Like, I don't care. I just, if I'm paid, I'll train it for you. And so I think that's one thing kind of sets us apart a little bit, is a lot of dog trainers, like, we only train pointers or we only train retrievers. But where we train so many different species, it's been fun because I've been able to work with all the major breeds and some of the really rare ones. And so I think it teaches you to be a better dog trainer if you can learn to work with Vizslas and Brittany's and Weimaraners and Draughts and wire hairs and labs and Goldens and Chessies. You know, there's just, because each breed has their own. It's like being a racehorse trainer, and then you're a cutter trainer, and then you're a roper, and then you're whatever, and you just learn to work with all those animals.
Specialize.
Yeah, you can. So we can take different species and be like, we can train that. So there's not much at this point, and I'm not trying to say this in a bragging way, but just doing it so long, we can take pretty much whatever people have and want done and get it trained for them, and make it as good as that animal can be. But then also we have to be honest with people. If the dog isn't going to be a racehorse, type thing, then we have to relay that information. Because we don't want to waste time and money, and we want them to be happy and know what the product, what to expect. So
is there a breed that over that time, and I know they specialize in certain things.
Yeah.
But is there one that's just like consistently easier to train than others, or are they all about the same when it comes to their teachability and willing to please and work, or are some far more stubborn and take a lot more time?
It's a good question. So the most common breeds, I would say that you asked me which ones were the most popular, or what? Repeat your question. Sorry, I know what you said the last part.
Which breed is typically not easier to train, but more teachable, and you feel like you can do more with.
Yeah, I'd probably say your Labrador Retrievers, your Golden Retrievers are probably going to be some of your smartest breeds out there.
Just like they pick up on things quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're motivated. I think they're very reward motivated. That's why a lot of times they're using them for, a lot of different contest training and stuff like that. But they're just very motivated. They love to retrieve. They love to get stuff. So if you want to use them for service dogs, they're very, they work good as a team member. They're just, there's a reason they're so popular, that breed, because they're super smart, they learn well, they're fast, they're biddable, they can respond to training, like they can take pressure, they like to be rewarded. If you do this, you get this. You sit, I'll throw you your favorite ball, and they're like, okay, I'll do it any day. Where you might get like a Malamute or something, a sled dog, and you're like, I got a ball, and they're like, I just want to sit here in the snow. Maybe you can hook something up to me and pull me around, Yeah. But you got to use like the dog. Like you have to look at your end goal. Like, what do I want in life? Do I want a sled dog? I'm a hardcore upland guy. Then I want a pointer of some sort. I'm a hardcore waterfowl guy. Well, you need a retriever of some sort. Chessie, Labrador, Golden, Labrador, Golden Retriever. Some of those breeds. But I would say the top two, probably most popular, are the Labs for waterfowl guys, or we cross-train them a lot too for upland and waterfowl. They're generally not going to have the endurance for upland that obviously a pointer will.
Yeah.
They're just bred not to go for hours and hours. The pointers are more like a hound. They're bred just to, their bodies are built just to go. Yeah, go cover ground. There's just a machine to do that. So I would say the most popular ones that we train for pointing breeds are the German short hair pointer. So Labs and pointers. And really, if you get a good hunting one out of good hunting lines, they make great dogs. Like if someone says I'm a hardcore upland guy, then I generally will point them towards a short hair. So they can take to training. They respond to pressure. If you have to use your e-collar on them and give them some corrections, they don't fold under that pressure.
I feel like I was ruined on pointers when I was younger, because all my dad's friends who I hunted with who had a pointer never had one that was under control. They were always like 200, 300 yards out in front of everybody, flushing birds when we're back, and they're spending the whole time yelling at them. And meanwhile, my lab's, 50 feet in front of me, working back and forth or hanging out by me sometimes. But I assume you get a good one trained right. That would be incredible.
It comes down to the training, and also our technology has changed. So I mean, our technology back then when we were young, the e-collars didn't exist, or they were like maybe very starting out, you know, and it's like one level zap, like a high level, and some dogs couldn't take that, you know. Yeah, I mean, my dad's dad, my grandpa, they had English pointers growing up, and if the dog's ranging out there too far, well, there's no way to correct them when they're out there 200 yards.
Yeah.
So it's the best way. You pull your shotgun up and you pepper your dog. And so shoot them with the shotgun. They come running back. You're like, I told you. But I mean, but so if there's no way to correct the animal, then, and you don't have them on a long check cord, because everything back then before the the electric collar came out, everything was leash work. It was choke chain and leash work. Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to have that dog drag a check cord for, you know, a long time of its life to create that muscle memory and to keep him in close. Or you might need to breed a dog that doesn't have enough confidence, that it just kind of, or not enough confidence, but you breed them to kind of not have that drive, kind of stick in closer. Because your labs, they like to be around people. Yeah. They generally don't like to run 200-300 yards off on their own, where a pointer will go, they'll go hunt independently almost of you. Yeah. But through correct training and obedience, you can keep that dog in the realm you want. And that's the great thing about the e-collar when they're properly trained on it and collar conditioned, is you can have that dog hunt at 100 yards. You can open them up to 200-300 yards. You can let them go 500 yards and use GPS to let them hunt the whole mountain, track or point your bird. And then you're like, okay, my dog's on point 2 ridges over. And if your dog will hold point for 20 minutes, you can hike over there and kill your chucker.
Are there dogs that will do that?
Oh, yeah. They have clients we do all the time.
Really?
Yeah. They'll just, they get the base of the chucker mountain, and they just, it's like a video game. Yeah. And you're just watching your dog, and it's just going all over the mountain, and all of a sudden it'll lock, and it'll say your dog's on point, and you'll just see him sitting there.
Is it a set amount of time of them not moving that it knows it's on point?
There's like a mercury, I think it's a mercury thing in their collar. So when they stop, that mercury doesn't move, and it just then it signals to the GPS that like your dog's on point, and it'll say just like pointing, you know, and you can just see it, and then your dog just isn't moving. Yeah. And then I mean, I've hunt with clients, we do that, and then you just hike up.
That is wild.
And as long as the birds are kind of, they see the dogs, like, because they know the dog's there, so they're keeping them. The dog, they're just kind of like, oh, don't move. Yeah. And the dog just like, I'm not moving. You know? And they just sit there, and then all of a sudden you come up, oh, there's my dog. You walk up, and then you just get your gun out and pound him. And
that is wild.
So it's pretty cool. So really the invention of the e-collar has really changed the game, because that's how I was. I went with my dad's friend, and he had some German short hairs when we were little, and they're like out there just flushing up all the pheasants. You're like, this is lame. Like, you know, and then my lab that was trained was close, and we were just smashing birds over. And so, but short hairs are great, and pointing dogs are great if any dog is training makes them better. Obviously, you know, teach them the game and how to play it.
What's the most stubborn breed?
Most stubborn breed. Really stubborn breeds is like you get into those like Akitas and like the herding dogs, like the Burmese mountain dogs, kind of some of those dogs that just, they're independent thinkers, right? Like, and the kind of the, I don't know, like huskies and kind of almost those like wolfish type dogs. They're very independent. They kind of don't want to be told what to do. I would say kind of those realm, because we do obedience training too. So we not only do we deal with gun dogs.
What are the courses that you offer?
So our primary
thing the program
is bird dogs. So we don't do any like hound stuff. Right. Yeah. So all bird dog training, upland, waterfowl. We do some shed hunting dog stuff too. Awesome. So we'll train dogs for sheds. And then we do just like obedience training.
Which one's the most used program?
Primarily, I would say our foundation training. It's like we start off typically with the foundation. It's 4 months, and that's going to be, you know, any retriever or upland dog. So we have like an upland foundation, waterfowl foundation. It's 4 months. It's like bird and gun. It's basically, if you bring me a dog and you're like, dude, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Yep. Here's my dog at 6 months of age. We do all the training. It comes back fully like properly introduced to birds, properly introduced to guns. So we develop the prey drive, introduce guns. We do all the obedience training. We do all the e-collar conditioning work. So just as a pet, around the house. You have all that good obedience. That's what a lot of women love. They're like, I don't really care about the hunting, but my husband wants the hunting. I just want obedience. So that's how they kind of come together. Sometimes like we're willing to send this off. So we do all the obedience training. We force fetch the dog. Have you heard of that? Or
is that where you like sit, there's a bird down, and you send them?
That's a good question. That's the blind retrieves or handling.
Blind retrieves,
so that's going to be more of like your advanced work.
Yeah.
Force fetch is actually the control of the animal's mouth. And so like so the obedience controls the dog's body, right? So if I want the dog to go over there, sit here, lay down, or go in place or kennel, the obedience controls the animal's movement. The force fetch, or the trained retrieve, or the conditioned retrieve, some different names for it, controls the animal's mouth. So if I wanted to pick up that bird on the ground, I can actually command it to pick it up. Or if I have your soda can, I can pick up a soda can. I can pick up whatever I want. Just like obedience for the dog's body, the trained retrieve controls its mouth to grab things. So through putting control on the animal's mouth, and it's built through something called the ear pinch or the toe pinch. You can actually pull on the toes, and it causes a little discomfort there, or the inner ear. You pinch that, and they're like, "Ow, why are you pinching that?" And then you put a bumper in their mouth, and then that pressure turns off. You release the pinch. They're like, "Oh, if I hear fetch and you pinch my ear, and I grab that object, that goes away." And so ultimately you teach them to retrieve on command because you say fetch, and they have the choice to grab it. If they don't, you have some pressure you can apply to make them grab it. But then ultimately, as they figured out, they learned they want to avoid that ear being pinched.
Right.
And so they grab it on command. In the beginning, you have to start so close, like basically put it in its mouth and work on hold. And then you just have them grab it, and then you move it a little bit, grab it until it's on the ground. And then what we do is we overlay it with the e-collar, so you can actually apply electricity and force them to grab it with electricity, so you don't have to pinch their ear in the field or their toe or whatever it may be. And you can actually make them grab it in the field. And through that, you can pattern the retrieve into the animal. So if like dogs retrieves are all completely different. You may have a dog runs out to your pheasant and he chomps on it and destroys it and then leaves it. You may have one that goes and gets it, brings it all the way to you, drops it at your feet, brings it to hand, tries to run around with it, doesn't want to retrieve it at all. And through that force fetch, you can actually teach them to grab it and pattern it, bring it to hand, grab it, bring it to hand. So you just teach that pattern. And so ultimately you have all the obedience, you have a nice retrieve, you can shoot your duck down or your pheasant, they go and get it, put it in your bag, put it in your hand, put it in your bag, go back out hunting or set up for waterfowl stuff. So our foundation covers that force fetch. So that's what I call it part of the foundation. They have all the obedience, bird and gun introduction, the force fetch. Then we do
and that qualifies them as a junior hunter with a AKC or
so the foundation gets them around a junior hunter level for like your retrievers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like in the so then we do like steadiness with that. So steadiness is like sitting there, you're throwing ducks, shooting. You can call ducks over them, send them out there to go pick up your bird, come back, come to heel, sit, deliver to hand. Because you got to get them to, and then we teach them how to swim. We get them in the water, work them through decoys. We do the same thing on land, develop marking ability where they're sitting, and then they have to drive. Okay, you throw that duck out at 150 yards. From here to there, I got to remember it's over there by that bush, and I got to be able to drive through all this cover, get the bird, and bring it back. So the junior hunter, it's 2 single marks on land. I say marks, it's retrieves. Is the name. But 2 single marks on land, 2 single marks on water. You can actually hold your dog in that test. They technically don't have to be force fetched as long as they naturally can get it to your hand. So yeah, and so it's kind of like an advanced junior hunter level the foundation gives you. Okay. So, but we try to focus more on what people plan to do with the dog. If you're a hunter, you want to have a dog that when the birds come out, you can shoot that gun right over them.
Yep.
Where the AKC style of training, it's more like there's a guy out there, you come up to a line, you hold the dog by the collar, that guy goes quack, 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 the duck calls. So the dog sees a guy standing out there at 100 yards. Then he shoots a shot, then he throws a bird in the air. Then the judge releases you and you go get it. So it's still hunting-esque, but it's not really
practical.
It's not as much real hunt. I mean, it'll still help a dog, but it's different because then that guy's out there behind like this fabric holding blind, And so when they're kind of back behind the holding blind, and a dog that runs out there, and all of a sudden there's like this guy like crouched in behind the blind. I was like, what the heck are you doing? Like, are you going to come get me? And so you got to train for those things, because they encounter it in the test. You know, they might run out there and see this guy and they wig out, and then they forget they're actually on a mission to get a bird, and then they run back to you, and then they're out of the test. So depending what people's goals are, we set that dog up. We train them for those, get them trained, and then put them in that game. And so it's like, you know, that game, okay, your dog knows how to play basketball now. Now your dog knows how to play golf, you know. And so you teach them to play those different games. Yep. But most people, they're not going to do hunt tests with them. So when we want to set them up for success and they go hunting, so when all of a sudden you go out there opening morning and teal or draw, you know, little duck, teal mallards were bombing in, and you pull up your gun, you're boom, 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 boom. You know, the dog's like, what is that? Like, where's the bird? You know, and they're looking around, and they know the game, that training clicks with the real deal. So
that's awesome. So you offer like a basic waterfowl, upland, shed, and obedience.
Mm-hmm.
Then if somebody wants to take their dog after that to a higher level, you kind of offer an advanced program for those.
Yeah. So
or is that just for waterfowl and upland?
No, so we have a few different programs. We have what we call as the basic gun dog, and this is going to be more for your kind of start from beginning to finish. But the basic gun dog is 2 months long, and that one is going to be more for your pointing breeds or like a flusher, and they're just like, I'm just an upland hunter. I just want to kill pheasants, chuck or grouse, whatever. And that one we do bird and gun intro. We'll teach like kennel, hear, sit, and our sit, the stay's implied. We don't use a verbal stay, just sit means sit. So we get basic control of the dog. Okay, so like we do bird and gun intro, get basic control, like kennel, hear, sit for a flusher, kennel, hear, whoa for a pointer, and then we'll actually get that dog, and then we get it in the field, we get it hunting, flush, you know, developing its nose, teach it the game of hunting, and then we'll usually shoot, you know, not usually, we always shoot pheasants over them, usually shoot 20 or so pheasants over the dog. If it's a pointing dog, we use our homing pigeons to get them pointing, get them steady on point. And so they're playing the game of, I'm going to hold point until you go up and produce the bird. And then once they're pointing good, then we come in and we switch those out for pheasants, actually have them hunt pheasants and shoot pheasants over them.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's kind of like sounds like the basic gun dog. Like it's a dog you can call back to in the field. You can keep in range like your grandpa or old dogs that just run out there too far. Yep. So you can keep them in range. You can put them into a truck and put them into a crate, you know, like, hey, here, load into a crate. And then they go on point. You say, hey, don't move, you know. Yeah. So it gives you the basic control and a hunting dog. So if you're like, I want to work on all the rest of the obedience and I really don't care about the retrieve, that's an option. If you're kind of on a budget and you're like, I can afford 2 months or I only want my dog to be gone for 2 months, that's an option. And then we have what we call is like, I don't even have a name for it. It's our 3-month program. But that's going to be all your obedience plus the pointing training, but no force fetch. So the dog has all the obedience as a pet and your pointing training or your flushing training, but no retrieval work. And then the foundation brings in that retrieval work. So you have a 2, 3, 4 month program. And then after that, we have what we call, and it's going to be more geared towards your waterfowl dogs. We have what we call as the complete retriever. And the complete retriever is anywhere from 7 to 8 months of total training. So it's basically you have the 4-month foundation, and then you have 3 to 4 months on top of that is the complete retriever. And what that entails is like that jumps you up to like around a senior hunter type level dog with the AKC, the American Kennel Club. And a senior hunter has to have memory developed, so has to have like 2 retrieve, has to remember where 2 ducks are, or maybe a triple, like doubles, triples, and then they have to handle or run blind retrieves. And that's what you were talking about earlier, is where I can take a dog, I can go out, I can not take a dog, I can go out and shoot a duck over a river. Then I can go grab my dog out of my truck and I can bring it back and handle the dog across the river, across the bank, grab the bird and bring it back and put it in my hand. Yeah. So it's really cool, but it takes so much drill work because you're teaching that dog to be able to, you know, sit at you, look at you from 100 yards away and be able to point your arm in a whatever angle you tell it to go, and it has to turn and remember that and run or swim in that direction. Yeah. And once they do it on land, they have to do it on water too. So they got to look, they got to stop, they got to tread water, look at you, And then as they're looking at you, you point them, and then they have to turn their body in the water and swim in that direction. And so it just takes a lot of time in the beginning, obviously, to do that. Everything is shortened. They're literally in front of you, and you're like, go over, back, and you're just teaching them, and that expands through all the other drills. It builds into where they're, finished. And so in the senior, the master, how that's, if you've never been to those hunt tests, they'll come up to a line, 2 different birds will come out, or a triple in the master. They got to remember where all those birds are first. Then you send them out there to go pick those all up, and they got to remember them. And then they come back. Then there's blinds that are planted, and then you bring them back, and then you handle them, to dead birds. They have no clue are there,
right?
And they have to trust. You have to take your commands. They don't give you refusals, and you just guide them or assist them to it. So
that's awesome.
So it's really cool. So that's kind of our advanced one, is the complete retriever, and that can be broken up. Like, some people do the foundation, and it still gives you a skill set you can hunt with your dog, but it's more of like a marking dog. So the dog's like visually seeing the ducks come, you shoot them, and then you send them out there. Or if they don't see them go down, you can kind of have them search out there for it, you know. But, and then the complete retrieve, some people break that up. They'll hunt a fall at the foundation, then they'll finish them out the next year.
How good are dogs at retaining that information? Like if I do the basic, go hunt the fall, and then bring my dog back to get some more advanced training, when he's done with that, how often should I be working with my dog outside of hunting season to keep them sharp? Or is it like, are they pretty good at retaining that to where it's like, if you go work a couple times, throughout the summer and fall, like after a couple hunts, they'll be ready to go? Or is it something that you need to regularly work with them? Like when you're a customer picks up a dog, and that's so I don't mean to layer too much here, but like,
no, you're good.
You've been working with the dog for 4 months. I haven't. So like when I pick my dog up, is he going to listen to me the way he listens to you?
That's a good question. So dogs are, to kind of hit this right. So yes, your dog can learn to listen to you, and that's part of a good trainer, is training the owner how to handle their dog. And so that's the hardest thing I'd probably say in my job, is taking the information, transferring it to you. And so what we do is we give them a whole list of commands. So you have every command written out and what that command means. So you have the language, how to talk to your dog first. And then I've made videos step by step that show you how to handle your dog once it gets home. So even if I fly your dog, you fly your dog in from California, and I fly it back, and I say, watch these videos step by step. Your dog knows all this stuff, and you practice with your dog step by step how to transition them. They'll transition back. So they'll because you're using the same commands, same way to correct it. And then, so we do that. And then also we make videos of their dog running through before it goes home, so they can see their dog doing it. It's like, okay. And we actually hunt, we do videos of them hunting pheasants and shooting over them. We do some marking ducks. We're throwing ducks and shooting over and send them out there on water. We run through all the obedience. And those ones aren't as much in detail, like how to handle your dog. They're just so you can visually see your dog doing the things.
Right.
It gives you confidence too. Like, okay, I know my dog
knows
dog
can do it.
So if I can't do it, it's kind of on me, you know, or like I don't understand it. So I make the training videos, like how to train them. I make videos of their dogs. We give them a list of all the commands. And on top of that, we have them work the dog with us before they go home and in front of us.
Awesome.
So we have you like get on hands on, like, okay, like work through all the obedience and the force fetch. And so they start going, okay, I can do this. Like, and we coach them along. And so we give them a lot of information, like training videos, commands, have you hands-on work them. And then after that we have a process of, you know, doing that. And then after they go home, we offer lifetime support too. So if you're I'm struggling on something, you know, give me a call, or give me a call if you're struggling on something. Let's meet up, like send me a video and I can walk you through it.
That's awesome.
So to be honest though, like most people don't like call us that much. I hope that's because we do a good job and we give them all the skills, you know. Occasionally we'll have people, and I want them to, and I always tell people, like, if you have questions, like reach out, or like we'll meet up as much. But when a dog is trained, it's just like, if you can think, like if you rode many horses, I have. Okay, it's like a good trained horse. Like once you get on there and like, okay, pull the reins this way or use your foot pressure, and once someone teaches you how to do it and that horse is trained, you're like, I can do this, you know, but it's like getting from point A to point Z, all that in between, like putting your horse in a round pen and getting like, and teaching them all those concepts to turn them into a good riding horse. Like there's a lot in between that.
Oh yeah.
So kind of dogs are no different. Like we do all the drill work and do that, but then once they go home, they're trained. And so you're like, dude, you just push the button here, you give this command and they just do it. You're like, oh, I can do this, you know? It's like I had a dog go home today. His name's Jeremy. He's over like putting the Western Hunt Expo together.
Yeah.
He's a stud. You know him, Jeremy, and his wife? I don't know.
I don't.
Anyways, he's a client of mine, but his dog went home this morning and we were doing blind retrieves and handling. He's never had a dog handle. And in like an hour, he's like pushing his dog out like over 100 yards and handling him just because we trained him up.
Cool,
and so, but he doesn't know how to teach his dog to handle, but he knows he now can handle his dog. So it's kind of like, I'm not, you know, if you're not a horse trainer, but you can still get on and ride a well-trained horse, you know? So, I can't remember where I started talking.
What's the retention level for dogs? Like how, after they've been to you and they've been trained and it's like a capable hunting dog, like how often do I need to work that dog during the year to make sure that they retain it and they're ready for fall? Or is it like after, you know, the 4 months of basic and then the 3 or so months of that advanced work, like they've got it?
So it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you learn how to ride a bike, that basic skill set is there, right? Like you can jump on a bike in a year and give the same, and you can ride it.
Right.
Now, if you're like fine tuning a trick or something, you haven't done it for a while, it could be a little rusty. You might have to kind of work. It's still there. Like if you've done a backflip on a tramp, like okay, I might have to. I haven't done one for years, but it's still. I remember kind of how to do it. Like dogs actually are gonna retain it now. Like if you're getting into like the master level or some of these where you're really fine tuning the training, like, you know, the more obviously you practice, like your dog's going to take just that slight degree of cast, like, you know, and it has to, you know, through all that repetition, it's going to get better and better as you fine tune. Now, if you're just like, I just need to teach I want to just handle my dog out to the bird, and you don't care if he gets, you know, a little far off on the right or left, but he still gets the job done. You know, you could probably work your dog once or twice a year and take him out in the fall, and it's going to be able to do the main concepts
what you need.
what you need. But if you want like kind of that fine tuning, you know, you want to go, it never hurts to practice with them more. But they're not gonna. It doesn't just ever like disappear. Yeah, there's like, I'm not trained anymore. You know, like it's kind of like I say, it's riding a bike. Like once it's there, it's in the memory bank. At least with our program, if you put enough time into it, they know what's going on.
So you can hunt birds without a dog. Mm-hmm. But what, in your opinion, like how does having a dog with you, whether it's hunting waterfowl or upland, like how does that change the experience, improve the experience? Why is it worth having a dog? Because a good dog's usually not cheap, and training for good training is also an investment. You're investing in a tool, in a partner, and why is it worth it? Like in your opinion, how does it change? How does it change having a dog with you in the blind or hiking the hills? Does it improve the experience? Is it worth the investment? Is it just a completely different experience that's worth that? Or how would you?
Well, you're asking a dog trainer.
I am asking a dog trainer.
It's like
you train dogs. Like you're passionate about it.
It's like eating cake without ice cream or no frosting. It's like hunting. It's like hunting without a good bird dog. I don't know. Like to me, it's like half of it or more. You know.
Like I've gone duck hunting, only a couple times. I am nervous that I'll get like way into it because a lot of people that I know that duck hunt, like when it's here, it is
I'll have
here.
You on a hunt, and then we'll see if you have mud in the blood.
But I didn't do it with the dog, but at the same time, I can't see doing it right without a dog.
Yeah.
Like I should have these birds come in and there should be a dog going out and getting them. Like, it's just part of the experience. But I've hunted far more upland game, pheasants, some chucker, grouse, and I always had a dog. And it is just cool to have a dog working in front of you, flush something, shoot the bird, and have them get it and bring it back. And they are like stoked out of their mind that just happened.
Yeah, I mean, you just see a grass field and you're like, oh, I'm just going to walk out through that. It's kind of like this stale landscape in a sense. When you have a dog working, it's like alive. It's like the dog's moving and you're watching its body language. And it's just, it's that experience that you're just walking in a line and your buddies, you're like, hopefully a pheasant kicks up.
It's like more immersive, maybe.
Yeah, it's just more immersive. And I mean, it's one, you're going to be more successful. Obviously, birds hunker down all the time. Even dogs, sometimes you'll be hunting along and all of a sudden your dog hooks back behind you and you've already walked through an area and up comes a pheasant.
Yeah, that's
fast.
I've had that happen.
So you're going to be way more successful. Two, it's like your greatest conservation tool. I mean, you shoot ducks down and they fall into the thickest, nastiest cattails and you're just like, one, you probably aren't going to find it if you go in there.
Yeah.
And it's just, and two, you don't want to go in there because it's just, so thick and nasty. Or like if there's mud and, you got to walk out there to go get your duck and it's up to your knees or you shoot the duck down, it's floating down the river and it's over your waders. Well, there goes the duck, So it's like you just lose game too. It's just like, where you shoot a pheasant down and falls down some thick brush and you just can't find it. And so it's really a conservation in that tool. You're not losing animals that you're trying to harvest and, so you're not wasting life in a sense. And then, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of like, if your kid, you go watch your kid play a sport or something, it's pretty awesome when they succeed at it, and like your boy dunks it or something, or gets a touchdown. You're like, holy cow, that was awesome! I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
dogs are kind of the same way. It's like instead of just, I don't know, when it's your dog, it just means a little more, compared to just out there. And I don't know if that's the best analogy, but even maybe just watching another game of not your child. It's still can be kind of cool to watch. But people really enjoy watching their dog succeed, make progress. And then you're just more successful as a hunter. And the great thing about a dog is, you can have, sometimes your buddies can't go hunting, but your dog's always there and can go hunting. So even if you have your companion, it's no difference than the old cowboys. Like they'd have their horse and that was their companion.
And to be honest, your dog might be a better hunting partner than your friend.
He's not shooting
he's
your
not
birds.
Shooting your birds.
He's doing stuff for you.
And he's working for you.
Yeah, he's working for you. And you can be the worst guy ever, and your dog still thinks you're cool.
Yeah.
And you can have a bad day, and your dog's still happy.
Yeah.
So they're just an amazing animal, and that's why I really. Yeah, I would just love it. It's fun to see that progress and take him from a puppy all the way through and see that animal advance and understand the knowledge base and then turn him into this awesome hunting tool. And that's really our, you're like kind of like you try to find as a trainer, you're like, what's my mission in life, type thing. And like our goal is really to like create better memories for people and create an animal that's safer for people. If your dog's not trained, and how many people their dogs get hit by a car because they can't control them, or I know stories dogs have chased a pheasant across the highway and they get drilled, and so, but the dog just, maybe like when we were young, the older generation, they didn't have e-collars. Well, if you can't control your dog or it's not trained good enough, that stuff like that can happen. So it helps bring more joy to people's life, like brings more joy and confidence, and their dog's happier because it understands what they're telling them to do. They can take it hunting and create family memories, and it keeps them safer as a pet. So there's a lot of things that, that does.
What do you think is the number one mistake people make when training a dog?
That's a good question. Number one mistake. I would say number one could be. I'll just give some mistakes. I would say is you want to make sure you get you want to get the right language or use a language and use consistency with your language. A lot of times the wife may say one thing and the dog is saying this. And so you wanted the different languages. You want to keep that the same. I would probably say the biggest one I hear a lot is people causing gun issues, dogs becoming gun shy. Like I'm at the Western Hunting Expo. Oh, I have a really good dog, but he's gun shy. I have a really good dog.
Introducing it too soon, or
just not introducing it properly. Yeah. So how a dog becomes gun shy is it's the sound is not associated with anything positive.
Right.
It's just it surprises them. Boom, the gun goes off. Firework goes off. Boom, and it's like, what is that? I don't know what it is. So it creates it's like PTSD. It creates like a fissure in their brain almost. That when that happens, that reaction in their body
effect. Not an exciting thing.
Yeah, it just responds that same way, right? So, and you can have some dogs that it's a 50-50, right? You can go out and you can shoot over them, and they're like, I don't really care. Or after a few birds, they're like, I'm fine. And then you have some that are just, it's really, they're kind of ruined, And so, and people sometimes pay a lot of money trying to fix that, where if they would have done it properly, if they would have done it right, they wouldn't even have to deal with that issue. So I'd say that's probably the number one is like do it properly. And it's really not that hard. You need to find something the dog really loves, like a bumper or a bird. We use birds. We get them really birdy first. So it's like,
yeah, that's awesome.
And then once they're loving birds, and then we just slowly bring that gun in from a distance. And you can't, and people in our we're all guilty of it. We want it now.
Yeah.
We're on Amazon. I want it tomorrow. I can even get it today.
Yeah. What?
Like I want this, and animals don't work that way. So if you want to do your gun work properly, it may take 2 weeks of every day getting your buddy out there. Yeah. Hey, can you come throw a bird for me and shoot a shot? And and you got to put that time in, but then your dog is like being adjusted, and you slowly work in until you can throw that bird, shoot right over it, shoot multiple shots over it, and the dog's like, birds equal guns. This is positive. This is awesome. So when I go hunting and I hear guns go off, I'm looking.
There's a bird.
Yeah, I'm looking for something positive. I'm not looking for underneath my truck,
right?
To go hide, or my owner's truck. So,
last couple things, couple questions. What's the best retrieve you've ever seen?
Best retrieve ever seen. And you'd sent me this question. I think was one that stands out. It was one of my old dogs. It was a Labrador. It was Aspen. She was getting really old. She was about 13, or what was she, 12, 13, something like that. And we were up on the Green River hunting some geese, and we shot these geese. I think we jump shot them, and one went down way out in the river, and I sent the dog, and the bird was crippled, and the dog just was like on it. And I just see my dog like chasing this thing down the green, and in my mind, it looks like it's a mile away.
Yeah.
But it was like hundreds and hundreds of yards. The current's flowing and that bird just going. And I just see the dog like disappear down around the bend. Oh. And she was an older dog.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, is this dog going to
come back?
Yeah. And she just she kept falling. I'm like, I'm just going to let her go. If she gets tired, she should get out on the bank at some point. And she goes down around, and I'm not like seeing her for a while. So we like get up off the river, like get up on the bluff. We start, and it took a while to kind of get up and get out of there where we could kind of go down to where hopefully find her. And I don't know what it was, 15 minutes later or something, all of a sudden she pops over the hill, and she has that big old goose in her mouth. And I'm just like, that was amazing.
That's
like,
a proud.
I would have never.
Yeah,
I was like proud. I'm like, and it took years of that dog like building confidence and knowing it could do that, And the coolest thing when it got to me too, I grab it and it was banded. And so it's like, so you're like, oh, yeah. So it's like, it just kind of made like, that was the most epic retrieve, and the goose was banded, and you're like 13 years old, and it just was like, that was pretty cool.
That is epic. So. Now, you already blew my mind with these long points, but any epic points with a dog that was just like, that was pretty impressive?
I don't, me, myself, I don't play a lot of that game of like, the long
game.
Point
stuff.
I think it's cool.
That already blew my mind.
It. Yeah, it's cool. Like,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I have a good buddy that has. Yeah.
That's almost like running hound dogs with lions, and it's like, lions treat.
It's kind of the same game. Yeah, because now they use use their GPS. Like, okay, it's running over here. It's like a video game, And so yeah, it's no different. I would say epic points. I don't know. I see so many cool points. I mean, there's nothing better when they're like, you get a hard running dog, and then they hit that scent cone, and they just like, it's like they slide into gear. They like slide into it, like slide in and like duck down low and just, become like a statue, and you're just like, all right, it's game on,
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I've seen some really cool points. I've seen some really cool far off points, you know. I have a little red setter right now. It's been a lot of fun. He's 3 years old, and he's just style. I let him open up pretty big. I don't do I let him run 2, 3. I let him run as far as he wants, but he's naturally probably like a 200 to 400, 300 yard range in the chucker hills. He likes to check in still, but man, it's just pretty it's just fun. You're hiking along, you're tired, and all of a sudden they just lock up, and the wind's coming their nose. And
so good.
You just work up to them, and all of a sudden, a bunch of chucker come out, just boom, 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 boom. You know, so
I feel like I know the answer to this, but you might surprise me. So you're limited to one breed of dog. You've trained as many breeds as you can think of. If you had to pick one breed to stick with, and that's what you had for the rest of your life, what are you picking?
Oh man, that's like ice cream, man. I love all ice cream. I love all the flavors.
Yeah.
I know we talked about shakes. I'm a shake guy, ice cream guy too.
Yeah.
It's like the Oreo shake. That's like if I had
to
only one eat,
it'd be
the Oreo shake.
I agree.
If I had to have that one, it would probably be, if I'm looking at a retriever, it would be definitely we do labs and goldens. I breed both those because I love both those for upland and waterfowl and upland. I probably use them more for waterfowl, but it would be, I'm gonna kind of split it. Probably not answer your question. It'd be a lab or a golden. I've bred labs so long. I don't know, man.
Might
be one of those two. Yeah.
What's
but
the
longer I'm with my
goldens,
them? They're just so pretty on the eyes. You get that red coat.
Yeah.
And the eyes, like the sun just hitting them, and they're just look.
Do they pick
awesome.
up at a lot of burrs, though? Do you feel like you're cleaning them a lot, grooming them a lot?
So, no, because not that much.
Okay.
So your show goldens have a longer flowy coat. The hunting goldens, the field bred,
it's a
shorter coat.
Okay.
It's not as short as a lab, but
right,
it's probably going to be twice
shorter.
as much, or 2.5, maybe 2.5, 3. So you're going to, it's a little longer. But you really, again, you want to look at your dog and what your goals are. Now, if you're hunting like upland only, if you're an upland only guy, I'd get a pointer first of all.
Yeah.
But but then you look at your pointer and you look at like, okay, short hairs are going to do better. If I hunt a lot of burry stuff, you're not going to want to throw a setter in there.
Right.
You're just going to, like you say, you're going to be cleaning out burrs. They have a longer coat.
Yeah.
But if you're a chucker guy or you're a grouse woods guy and you're hunting up in the pines and quakies or chucker, your setter's not going to pick up any stuff, know. So kind of like, okay, this is where I kind of hunt. This is what I need. Yeah, I want this dog then because it's going to be less maintenance. But even then, they have some pretty sweet brushes. You can brush out get the burrs pretty easy. It takes some work for sure. But I like down on some of my properties I hunt, like we have cockaburs and we just go for it. Whatever. Yeah. I'll clean them out at the end.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you have a whole ball of cockaburs, but I would say I kind of have what I have right now. Like I love what I have right now, like my goldens and my labs, and then that setter. I really like the setters. They're kind of they're a little bit of a pain to train because they're softer. Mm-hmm. But when you let them just do their thing, they're just like beautiful to watch, and they set back far. They have really good noses. So they're fun for chucker and stuff. They just really, and they hit that scent just a little bit, and they're more careful on the birds.
Are golden retrievers as water happy as labs?
A good one will be. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I have a male named Boss right now. I just put his Master Hunter pass on title on him this year.
Awesome.
So he's playing at the highest level any retriever can play. Yeah, he'll fly off the bank into the water.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you're stuck. You can either do waterfowl or upland. What are you doing?
Probably gonna choose waterfowl. Yeah.
Just more interactive or more exciting or less hiking or what?
I still love upland, but it being a trainer, I've shot thousands of upland birds. I mean, like you're putting out pheasants and chucker like every day, right? Yeah. And so it's kind of, and unfortunately, like, cause it is my work, it takes a little bit. It's like, I just shot 40 pheasants this week. Do I want to go hike around and go fight a pheasant? Like, dude, we just go pull some out of my pen, like, I don't know, it is different, like a wild rooster, but it just, I would say, unfortunately, like I still enjoy it, and and it's the dogs I enjoy more than killing the bird, because I've killed so many birds that I love seeing those young dogs work and figure out the game and stuff like that. It's still not old to me, I would say, but the shot of like when I first shot my first roosters and stuff, and I was like, it's like, okay, it's kind of another pheasant, you know. But the duck dogs, the difference that we throw a lot of ducks for dogs in training, but when you're bringing in, the ducks are coming in at different angles, you're calling them, it's really interactive. And then your retrievers, it's fun because they're, you know, the pointers are awesome because they go hunt and point and find your game, but the retrievers, you have the whole blind retrieve and the handling. So it's a lot of teamwork. Like you're going, I'm going to guide you here, and you got to sit here, and you got to go through the water. It's something cool.
It's
like
more immersive.
Yeah, it's more immersive.
I mean, you're calling.
Yeah, you're calling, and there's a lot of birds coming in, and I mean, you shoot. I mean, who doesn't like seeing something splash in the water, right? Like, I mean, you throw a rock on land, and it's like, that's cool.
That's cool.
You throw a rock in water, and you're like, that's cool. You know? So that's better. So it's like when you're shooting ducks, they're splashing, and the dogs going, and the mud, and the boats, and I don't know. It's just really interactive. So I probably lean a little more that right now.
Where is the best place for people to find you?
So you can find us on Instagram. Our Instagram's Utah Bird Dog Training. So pretty simple. Or our website, utahbirddogtraining.com. Or you can follow us. We also, our golden retrievers is field bred golden retrievers.
Oh,
so you can find that on Instagram. We have a website also, same name for that. So if you're looking for a good hunting golden retriever.
And you do sell puppies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're kind of in a transition right now. We had a bunch of females retire, and we didn't work the transition out really good. So this next year we'll have some up, and we just have 2 litters that are coming right now. We may have some available, but those I think are pretty much. So if you want to, are pretty much sold out. But if you want to get a good hunting golden, they're a little more rare, and so you spend generally a little more money for them. But then also you generally probably gonna wait like a yearish to kind of wait for real good bloodlines.
Right.
The problem with goldens, I would say the problem with them are, like, to get a good one, there's a lot of genetic issues that tend to be with the golden retrievers. And so there's a big panel of, like, they tend to have eye issues, and they can have thyroid issues and heart issues and hip issues. I mean, there's just there's a big gamut that I don't know if it's just the gene pool is not as big. And so you tend to have more of these things. So we do a lot of genetic testing and to try to obviously weed that all out as much as possible. You know, they can be prone to cancer, certain bloodlines. So we do a lot just to produce a really healthy animal, but then also a really good working animal. You know, so and then we hunt test them. And then the cool thing about being a breeder and a trainer is we get to see the parents, we know their personalities, and then we can say this male and this female wouldn't be very good, but these two together should make better.
Right.
And so you're trying to always produce better, where like a private breeder, they're like, you got a golden, I got a golden, let's breed them. But maybe both of them are yappers. Right. And now you produce a whole litter of just really yappy dogs. Or maybe they have like no retrieve desire and, or low retrieve desire. Now you produce that. So, so really if you do, and I'm kind of getting offside, so that's the benefit, I guess, of having us a professional, and there's other trainers that breed too, but you kind of can hopefully better the breed, produce a really nice animal. So.
Well, go give them a follow if you're interested in a dog or have a dog that you would like to get trained. Look them up. Utah Bird Dog Training. Thank you again for your time. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll do it again.
Okay, sounds good.